Can you start just a little bit for those that don't know what happened that fall in 1957? Would you mind?
No, I'm happy to do that. In 1957, there were 9 African-American students who were granted permission to be part of the Little Rock Central High School family as a result of Brown versus Board of Ed Supreme Court ruling. Unfortunately, on the day of their arrival, there were riots, there were crowds, and there were lots of people who did not want them to be part of our school. And then we just had the 60th commemoration last year.
Help me out just a little bit about what life and schooling was like, pick a year, 1956, 1955, for African Americans here in Little Rock.
Well, they were in a separate school, and so they were getting an education that was not equitable. They were getting the old textbooks from our school. They weren't getting new materials and resources, and that was the whole idea, that there was to be equal opportunity and equity for all children, which is why the 9 were sort of the test case for coming to a segregated school. Looking at where we are today, obviously it's kind of a no-brainer that these kids should have absolutely equal opportunity in education.
How difficult was it for the educators?
I mean, if you read the history, there are a ton of them who will say that they just wanted to finish high school,
right,
that they didn't care who was here. Unfortunately, a lot of those kids, and history will tell you this, did not speak up and help those kids. And so you're dealing with kids who, I guess you could say, were guilty of the sin of omission,
sure,
which is what history says, as opposed to, and there were some children, but not very many, who stood up for the Little Rock 9 who did come. I guess I'll give my age away. I was 10 when this happened, and I was living in Long Island. We had our first black and white TV, and I remember clearly looking at the TV or walking by and seeing all this. You know, in those days, you didn't see anger and TV was, you know, right, Howdy Doody and Winky Dink. And I asked my mother, I said, what is this? And I remember her one word answer, and I remembered it my whole life: ignorance. Nancy, that is ignorance. And of course, who would have ever thought, wow, that I'd end up where I am from that experience back in 1957. There was also a committee called the Women's Emergency Committee. There were a bunch of families in Little Rock who, women particularly, who got together, who wanted the schools to be integrated, and they were met with huge opposition, and people's jobs were threatened, and it was quite something.
But now people don't realize you're the principal, you've got 2,400 students. You are still a functioning and, dare I say,
beautiful high school,
amazing high school that people can come and visit. This isn't just a museum.
No.
As it could be, and absolutely could be, but it's not.
It's the only high school in the United States that's a National Historic Site under the National Park Service.
And people can come and take a tour?
Every day. We have children every day who come, and adults and tours. You just saw one come in that can come here, and we actually have a route in the school that they can travel in the middle of classes and everything to see what's going on here, and it's beautiful. So the combination of the architecture and the history of this school and the legacy of excellence that we now enjoy make it a really great place to visit.
Do the students today understand the significance and relevance of where they go to school, truly?
We make them. They don't have a choice. You come to Central High School, one of the first things they learn during Tiger Academy, which is for the 9th graders even before they start, is the history of this school. We teach them about the history of the school, and then all 9th graders take civics. The civics teachers, the first 9 weeks of school, every single one of them takes their classes across the street to the visitor center, to the museum, where they see all the video and they get the full history. Some classes read a book. There's a book called Warriors Don't Cry by Melba Patilla Beals, who was one of the 9, and a lot of the kids will read that book as well. I do character education with the kids, and one of the questions of the students who are selected to be highlighted every month is what you love best about Central. almost without fail, every single child will say what they love so much about Central is the unique diversity here. I mean, we have students in our school now who come from 26 countries and who in their families speak 29 languages. That's the Little Rock Nine, with whom I am friends since I've been here so long and know all of them, are extremely proud of what we are now. Is it a perfect world? There's no such thing as a perfect world. But we have come such a long way. We still, and just looking at where we are in our country right now, we obviously have some work to do.
We do.
But here at Central High School, we consider ourselves kind of an icon and a role model for other high schools, and so that's our approach.
Wouldn't you agree that if we are trying to figure out what the world that we want to live in the future, we can't possibly begin to plan that if we don't understand where we are today, and more important, where we came from?
Absolutely. That's a philosophy of mine. History is alive and well, and if you don't teach kids about history and let them know what happened back when, then how do you ever go forward?
Thank you for this, Nancy.
You're welcome.